My phone lit up the dark room, casting a pale blue glow on the ceiling. It wasn't a call. It was a group text from my mother, Brenda. I read the words once, then twice. Rose, after your disgusting behavior at my birthday dinner, your father and I have discussed. We agree with Madison. You are no longer welcome. We are done. We are done. I just stared at the screen. The silence in my apartment felt heavy. Absolute. And then, seconds later, as if the universe needed to add a final, cruel punctuation mark, a small icon popped up under the message. A heart notification. It was from Madison. My sister, she loved it. I didn't cry. I didn't ask why. I didn't text back what the fuck or please don't. I just sat there in the silence, the blue light of the phone painting my face. I felt the anger, but it wasn't the hot, messy anger I used to feel. This was cold. It was clean. It was clarifying. This wasn't an emotional breakdown. This was an accounting. I opened my laptop. The glow was bright, almost sterile. My fingers found the keys. I logged into my personal bank portal. My real bank account. The one they knew nothing about. First, I went to bill pay. I found the recurring monthly payment. The one labeled Family Mortgage Support. $2,500. A payment I had made every single month for 3 years. Ever since my father, Mark, had mismanaged his retirement. I clicked the payment. A small box popped up. Are you sure you want to cancel this scheduled transfer? I clicked confirm. Next, I went to the lease management portal for the luxury car service. The $800 monthly payment for the BMW my mother insisted was essential for the family's image. The car I wasn't allowed to drive. Click. Cancel. Then, I logged into my American Express account. I went to authorized users. There was Madison's name. I attached to a platinum card I'd given her for PR expenses for her freelance career. A card that, last month, had charges for a spa weekend and $300 worth of shoes. Click. Freeze card. Finally, I logged into the admin panel for our family's cloud storage. The massive, terabyte-sized drive I paid for, the drive that held every perfect family photo from the last 10 years, every vacation, every Christmas, every single one of Madison's flawless selfies. Click. Revoke all access. I shut the laptop. The click echoed in the quiet room. I looked at my phone. The time was 12:03 a.m. It took me 12 minutes to digitally dismantle the family that had just disowned me in 12 seconds. You need to understand. You need to know why this wasn't revenge. It was a balance sheet. And it all started 48 hours ago. At my mother's birthday dinner. It was at one of those painfully trendy, it-list restaurants. The kind where the portions are tiny, the prices are astronomical. And the main purpose is to be seen. Brenda, my mother, was celebrating her 58th, and she had reserved the exclusive private room. The air was thick with the smell of expensive perfume and quiet judgment. My father, Mark, was there, nodding along to whatever was being said. A ghost in a nice blazer. And my sister, Madison, was glowing. Her PR career finally taking off. Mostly because of her new boyfriend. Ryan, the VC bro, the venture capitalist with a perfect smile, a $1,000 watch, and an opinion on everything. He was the new golden child. And I was just the scapegoat. The quiet one, the data scientist they didn't understand, and I was the one who was about to ruin the picture. The flashback to my mother's birthday dinner, it plays in my mind like a movie I've seen too many times. We were in that private room, the one with the dark wood and the single, oppressive chandelier. Ryan was holding court. Of course. He was explaining AI to me. Me, the woman who just spent 3 years building an ethical data sourcing framework. It's incredibly complex. Rose, he said, leaning in. His voice dripping with condescension. He was talking to the whole table. but his eyes were on me. We're essentially teaching computers how to, well, I think you should really read the white paper on my new fund. It breaks down the monetization of predictive analytics. I just smiled. That thin, polite smile I'd perfected, the one that says, I am not here. My sister Madison just giggled. Oh, Ryan, you're so brilliant. Rosie, isn't he brilliant? My mother, Brenda, was beaming. He's just wonderful. Madison has brought home such a wonderful man. Ryan sipped his wine, soaking it in, then turned his focus back to me. But really, Rose, it's one thing to be in the, let's call it, academic side of tech. It's another thing entirely to be on the front lines. The monetization side, that's where we are. The table was quiet. They were all waiting for me to be small. I set my fork down very gently. The academic side, I repeated. Yeah, no offense. It's just different worlds. You're right, I said. My voice was quiet, but it cut through the clinking of silverware. They are my academic company, the one you're referencing. It just closed an acquisition deal last week. The final valuation was $8.5 million. My ethical framework is currently being integrated by 3 of the largest firms in the Valley. So please, Ryan, tell me more about monetization. Silence. Not just Kiet. It was the heavy, suffocating silence of a vacuum. Ryan's face went pale, then blotchy red. My father, Mark, actually stopped chewing. Madison looked like I'd just thrown my wine in her face. And my mother looked furious. Not at Ryan. At me. She didn't say a word. She just gave me the look. The one that said, you have ruined this. You see, in a narcissistic family system, everyone has a role. My mother, Brenda, is the narcissistic parent. Her entire world is built on image, on the appearance of perfection. My sister, Madison, is the golden child. She gets the praise, the approval, the resources, because she reflects that perfect image back to my mother. And me, I'm the scapegoat. I'm the one who gets blamed for every crack in the facade. The one who's difficult or dramatic or too sensitive anytime I point out that the illusion is just an illusion. But here's the secret about being the black sheep. Being the one I was learning in real time. We're not the broken ones. We're usually the healthiest ones. We're the first to see the dysfunction and refuse to play along. My success didn't make my mother proud. It made her angry. Because it was my success, not Madison's. And it exposed Ryan as a fraud, which ruined her perfect party. That was my crime. Not lying. Telling the truth at the wrong time. That dinner ended with muttered excuses. And that's what led to the 11:51 p.m. text. That's when they decided the scapegoat had finally become too much trouble to keep around. The sun came up. I hadn't slept. But I wasn't tired. I felt wired. I made coffee. The expensive kind I buy for myself. And watched the steam rise in the quiet of my apartment. And then, as if on cue, the phone started. It wasn't a call. It was a barrage. A digital carpet bombing of entitlement and panic. The first was from my mother. Brenda. 7:04 a.m. Rose. I just got off the phone with the bank. The mortgage payment failed. I don't know what kind of game you think you're playing. But you have created an absolute mess. You need to fix this and call us immediately. A mess. Not. Why did you do this? Not. Are you okay? But you've created a mess. I was an inconvenient administrative error. A minute later, Madison, my Amex was declined. Declined. At Starbucks? Do you have any idea how embarrassing that is? You are being unbelievably petty. You owe Ryan a massive apology for how you treated him. And now this. Whatever. Fix it. She was right. I was being petty. But I was also being extremely accurate. Then, my father, Mark, the weakest text of all. Rosie, your mother is very upset. This has all gone too far. Just call her. Let's smooth this over. Smooth this over. Like I was a wrinkle in his favorite shirt. I didn't answer a single one. I just drank my coffee. They weren't angry at what they did. They were furious at what I did back. They weren't shocked by their cruelty. They were shocked. I had stopped accepting it. I let the texts pile up for another hour. More from Brenda. Escalating from panic to threats. More from Madison. Complaining about a subscription service that had failed. And then came the final move. The one they always pull. The public shaming. My aunt texted me, Rose, are you okay? I saw your mother's post. I opened Facebook. I hadn't been on it in months. And there it was. A public post from Brenda. Just 15 minutes old. No names. Of course. Just a vague, sad-eyed, quote, graphic she'd found. It's just so sad when children forget who gave them everything. We gave you roots. We gave you wings. And you fly away and forget the nest. A mother's heart is broken today. I stared at it. Gave me everything. I thought of the $8.5 million in my acquisition account. I thought of the mortgage payment I'd just canceled. The car payment, the years of emotional labor, of being the family's quiet problem while I was secretly their financial lifeline. I set my coffee mug down. The anger was gone. All that was left was a quiet, cold resolve. I went to Brenda's contact. I tapped block. I went to Madison's block. I went to my father's. I hesitated for half a second. Then I tapped block. I went back to Facebook. I reported my mother's post for harassment. Then I blocked her there. 2. The nest was empty. And for the first time, it was quiet. Blocking them felt good. But it was a digital solution to a human problem. It was clean. But it wasn't final. I needed a firewall. Something legal. Something that would stand up when Brenda inevitably tried to smooth things over by showing up at my apartment. I called Olivia. She's an old college friend who went to law school while I was building my company. We bonded over late-night study sessions and a mutual hatred for inefficiency. She picked up on the second ring. Olivia speaking. Hey, it's Rose. There was a pause, then a knowing sigh. So, it finally happened. It finally happened. I need to formalize the separation. Live. Financially. Everything. I've been waiting for this call for 5 years. She said. Her voice was all business now. I hope you know I'm billing you for this. I'm counting on it. I just cut them all off mortgage. Car. Credit cards. But it was all informal. I need to make it official. You need a letter of demand, she said. And I could hear her typing, a formal notice of cessation of financial support. We'll send it via certified mail. It outlines that all voluntary financial support has ended. Effective immediately. Good. And Liv? They're planning a wedding. My sister Madison and her boyfriend, Ryan, at the country club. The VC bro. The one, they're expecting me to pay for a huge chunk of it. The wedding is $150,000. We need to make it clear I'm not attending and I'm not contributing a single cent. Oh, that's going in bold, Olivia said with a dark little chuckle. Consider it done. Send me the statements for every account you were paying. I want a full audit. We're gonna make this airtight. I sent her everything. The bank logins, the statements, the list of payments. She called me back an hour later. Her voice was different. The professional cheer was gone. It was flat. Rose, I'm looking at that emergency joint account. The one you kept with Brenda, just in case? Yeah, I haven't touched it. There should be about $80,000 in there. There's $5,000. Rose. I stopped. What? That's impossible. I'm the only one with withdrawal access. Someone, Olivia said, her voice like ice, withdrew $75,000 3 weeks ago. It was an in-person, teller-signed withdrawal. But I was in Seattle 3 weeks ago. I wasn't even in the state. I know. I'm looking at a digital copy of the withdrawal slip right now. The signature, it's a very good forgery of your name. My blood ran cold. 75. Where did it go? Liv, where did the money go? It was transferred to a newly opened LLC, RM, Capital Ventures. I didn't have to think. My breath caught in my throat. RM, Ryan and Madison? That's what I was afraid of. Olivia said, they didn't just disown you. Rose, they robbed you first. They took your money, then they cut you out. I was speechless. This wasn't just a family dispute. This was theft. But wait, Olivia said, her voice dropping even lower. It gets worse. What could possibly be worse? You asked me to look into your parents' retirement accounts. Right, the ones you helped them set up? Yes. I ran the name of that shell company. RM, Capital Ventures. Rose, 70% of your parents' retirement fund is gone. I stood up. What are you talking about? Ryan. He convinced them to invest it. It was transferred out 6 weeks ago. Right into his company. The same one your $75,000 went into. He's not just a VC bro. Rose. He's a con artist. He's draining your entire family. He stole your money. He stole their money. And he's using it all to fund his own wedding. I looked out the window. The world felt like it was tilting. Ryan wasn't just an arrogant prick. He was a criminal. And my family, in their blind obsession with image, had invited him in and handed him their entire future. And he was about to marry my sister. The day of the wedding arrived. Bright and nauseatingly perfect. The country club was exactly as my mother would have chosen. Old money. Sprawling green lawns. And an oppressive sense of tradition. It smelled like cut grass and judgment. I didn't come in a guest dress. I wore a dark charcoal power suit, tailored to perfection. My hair was pulled back in a severe, clean bun. I wasn't here to celebrate. I was here to close a deal. Olivia Melavier was at my side, carrying a leather briefcase. On my other side was Liam, the investigative journalist. He just looked like a guest. A phone in his pocket. But he was the real weapon. We didn't go to the garden where the white chairs were set up. We walked straight into the main clubhouse. A panicked wedding planner tried to stop us. Can I help you? Are you with the... We're not guests. I said, not breaking my stride. I knew exactly where I was going. The bridal suite. I didn't knock. I pushed the door open. The room went silent. It was a perfect, sickening tableau. Madison was in her white gown. A vision of lace. Staring at herself in a gilded mirror. My mother, Brenda, was adjusting her veil. Her face, a mask of maternal pride. Then she saw me. Her face, that perfect mask, twisted into pure rage. Rose, how dare you? I told you. Get out. Get out. Shut up. Brenda. The words hung in the air. I had never, not once in my life, used her first name. She recoiled as if I'd slapped her. Madison turned. To her expression, a mix of confusion and disgust. I walked to the antique vanity table, scattering makeup brushes, and dropped the first file. What is this? Madison snapped. That, I said, pointing to the bank statement, is a withdrawal slip for $75,000 from my account. With my forged signature, the one Ryan cashed 3 weeks ago. Madison laughed. A high-pitched, nervous sound. You're insane. You're lying. Ryan would never... He wouldn't. I dropped the second file. That's a copy of the SEC complaint that's being filed as we speak. My friend Liam, who is standing right outside that door, is publishing his story in 58 minutes. The one about Ryan's little RM, Capital Ventures Ponzi scheme. Madison's face went white. She finally understood, but Brenda still didn't get it. She was still in the performance. You're doing this to ruin your sisters. My sisters, I turned to my mother. And for the first time, I felt nothing. No anger, no pain, just clarity. I'm not done. I dropped the third file. That is a statement from your retirement account. Mom, the one you begged me to set up for you, or it's what's left of it. 70% of your future is gone. He invested it for you. Right into the same black hole he put my $75,000 in. That's what broke her. The mask didn't just crack, it disintegrated. Her face, the one that had smiled for so many photos, just collapsed. Her hands flew to her mouth, and a horrible, strangled sob came out. She looked at the papers, then at me, her eyes wide with a terror that was real. Please, she whispered. Rose. Please, not now. The guests, everyone is here. It's Madison's day. You'll ruin us? She was still trying to save the image. I leaned in, my voice no louder than hers. Ruin you, I'm saving you. You are about to marry your daughter to a man who is going to federal prison. He's not a VC bro. He's a common thief. I looked at Madison, who was just standing there, a statue in white lace. Then I looked back at my mother. You disowned me to protect your image. I am exposing a criminal to protect my name. Brenda grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. The tears were real now, streaming down her ruined makeup. Please, we're family. We can fix this. Just wait. Wait until after. I pulled my arm away, cleanly. No! Mom, we can't. I turned and walked to the door. We're done. You said so yourself. Remember, I walked out. Olivia right behind me. We didn't run. We walked past the confused, whispering guests in the hallway, past the string quartet just starting to play. As we reached the front steps of the clubhouse, I heard it in the distance, on the long, winding driveway of the country club, the quiet, unmistakable sound of an approaching siren. The accounting was complete. Ryan was arrested right there. At the altar, before he could even say I do. Madison didn't cry. She just stared. A porcelain doll whose strings had been cut. The story, Liam's story. I went live an hour later. It was brutal, factual, and backed by Olivia's legal filings. The fallout was total. The wedding was obviously canceled. Madison, humiliated beyond recovery, filed an annulment and disappeared from social media. Ryan is facing multiple federal charges. My parents, Brenda and Mark, they lost the house. The bank foreclosed. Their retirement fund was completely gone. Vaporized in Ryan's shell company, they are facing their own legal questions about their potential involvement in the $75,000 forgery. I'm in my new apartment now. It overlooks the city, not the suburbs. Olivia called this morning. The case is closed. My $75,000, being the result of direct wire fraud, was recovered. Their retirement money was not. He said to me, disc. Looking out the window, my laptop was open. On the screen was the old file I'd kept for years. Family budget, XLSX. It was a meticulous record of every dollar I'd spent on them. The mortgage payments, the car lease, Madison's tuition, every loan. That was never a loan. It was my quiet ledger of resentment. My proof. I stared at it. I could keep it. I could look at it whenever I felt guilty. But I didn't feel guilty. This is the part nobody tells you about the clean cut. It doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like an amputation. It's not a celebration, it's a surgery. You're not cheering. You're just breathing. Maybe for the first time, you're grieving, but you're not grieving the family you lost. You're grieving the family you never had. The one you kept trying to build. The one you kept hoping would finally see you. You're grieving the idea of them. This wasn't revenge. This was self-preservation. I looked at the spreadsheet one last time. All those numbers, all those years of trying to buy their approval, all that red ink. My finger moved to the mouse. I right-clicked on the file. Delete. A small box popped up. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this file? I clicked yes. It was gone. The ledger was clear. That night, for the first time in my adult life, I went to sleep without a knot in my stomach. I didn't dream. I just slept. Right through until morning. The silence in my apartment wasn't heavy anymore. It was just quiet.